Hello, 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 YouTube. How are you guys doing today? Welcome to Real Talk Therapy 101 with your girl, Ebony. And thank you so much for coming on, spending some time with me this week. And I want to um, just go through a couple of things before we dive into our conversation for this week. For those of you who have been rocking with me from the first day to this day. Again, I thank you. I appreciate you way more than words can say. And I thank you guys for being patient with me through the transition of the channel from me, how we started out to where we are to where we're going. If you're new to the channel, thank you for showing up and being here with us today. We appreciate you. And I hope that you all are able to get something out of the content that I am putting out to help you with your mental health journey. We know that mental health is such a stigma these days, and sometimes mental health can be used as a crutch or an excuse. And so, my name is Ebony Campbell. I reside in the state of North Carolina. I am a certified alcohol and drug counselor within the state. I am also a certified peer support specialist in the state of North Carolina. And your girl is working on becoming a licensed clinical social worker so that when I am able to provide treatment for clients or to have good, healthy mental health conversations with clients, I'm able to provide a well-rounded service for everybody. And the channel is fun. What I do here is just have conversations about different things that we are all going through in life, different things that we are all struggling with, so that we can find a happy medium to what it is that we're going through. And we can find a happy, healthy place to get past those things that we are dealing with. So, you guys know that YouTube is still a learning process for me as well. So bear with me as I learn how to use my little green screen and do different things until I get back to my post where I normally sit, where y'all normally, sit and talk with me and we do different things. But what I refer to as mental health or interventions, coping strategies is simply having a conversation. Sometimes when we're allowed to just talk about what's bothering us, how we feel, where we feel like we're stuck at, how to move from one place to another, because now I'm trying to maneuver through some uncharted waters that I've never dealt with before. What do I do? Where do I go? How do I manage? Who do I talk to? Because sometimes your BFF may not give the best advice and they may not know how to give the best advice. And so that's when you tap into seeing either a licensed professional counselor, a licensed clinical social worker. You can go to your spiritual counselors, your pastors. Those individuals are trained to be counselors and to help you maneuver from one place to another. We all know that, throughout this entire world, pride has a way of keeping us from seeking out the help and the things that we need. And so we're going to learn this year how to put this pride to the side and have these uncomfortable conversations so that we can continue to maneuver through life in ways that we hadn't been able to maneuver before. All right? Now, before we get started as well, I always share a couple of things about myself. We have these conversations. I use music, movies, TV shows, interactions with other people, past jobs, my current job, just anything that's going on in life to discuss how I made it out, of some things. And sometimes what someone else has gone through has a way of helping us. Or it helps you to start searching for the way you want to get from that one place to the other. Also, my husband and I make custom t-shirts. So I have been trying to keep up the tradition of creating a custom made t-shirt for the conversations for the day. I also feature a Coach bag and or accessory of the day because your girl is addicted to Coach, and kicks of the day, mainly Nike because right now that's what I'm on. So today's custom made t-shirt, and I hope you guys can see it. You'll probably ever see it better when I sit down, but it says "Be alert, Real Talk Therapy 101. Expect the unexpected." So we're going to break that cliche down today once we get started. And so my Coach bag of the day is my multicolored tote. You guys have seen this before. Y'all, I love my tote. I promise you I love my tote. I had a whole lot of stuff in this bag, and then, I've been putting things different places, so she got a little wrinkly, but Coach, holla at your girl, because I'm telling you, my plug keeps me dripped and dipped and good, Coach. So this is the bag of the day that I am carrying, and my kicks of the day. Let's see if we can get those in this shot. I normally, let me see, maybe I can do, I don't know. But yeah, I got on my blue Vapor Max, little powder blue, baby blue Vapor Max that I am wearing. And as we get in position for today's conversation, y'all already know how I go back and forth with all of this equipment and what to do. So again, it's real talk therapy. I'm not afraid of my flaws and shortcomings, and so I'll tell you, I'm learning YouTube as I go. I'm being me. I do have to be very professional when I am working with clients and in the real, capacity of doing this type of work. You won't catch me being as I don't know what I want to call it, but just being me. And sometimes in sessions I really do, but in these conversations, it's just raw and uncut. It's just real. It's real life stuff that we talk about, moving from one thing to another, making it through, one particular thing, and getting to the next. I apologize for not having taken care of these chat lips. I forgot. Before I got started. Now, I'm not fancy with my just little Carmex to put on these lips. I'm trying to, y'all, Carmex is a bomb. I used to get regular chapstick before I found out about Carmex, and they had these lips feel good, and these lips be popping. All right, so I hope you guys have been doing okay. I hope you have been doing the work. I asked you last week to go to the $1.25 store, because it's no longer Dollar Tree, and get a journal so that you can begin jotting things down about what you may be going through and helping yourself to determine when you get to places of stuff just being too much for you. When you get to the point of no return in your life with certain things, what do you do from there? How do you move forward from there? How do you go from where I'm stuck to where I'm going? And the old adage cliche or what have you is where do I want to go with this? I've heard so many people saying if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any at all. Our words are powerful, and when we put them in the atmosphere, they become what we make them. So if you feel like if it wouldn't be for bad luck, you wouldn't have any at all, then everything that you walk into is going to become an unlucky situation because you've already put it into the atmosphere, and that's what you're expecting. You don't expect anything good to happen to you. And I have come into this thing, definitely come into this year with the highest expectations that I could ever have. If you have time, you can go back and become a new subscriber for me and look at some of the channels, look at some of the videos I was sharing with you guys. I want to go, they say the sky's the limit. I want to go beyond that. I think it's today. What's the date? That we should be able to go outside tonight and see all of that's tomorrow. So January the 25th, we should be able to go outside and see a lineup of all of the planets that hadn't been seen in I don't know how many umpteen years. If you have a telescope, you will definitely be able to see a lot of the things that the rest of us won't be able to see. But there will be some of the other planets that we can see in plain view. And so I plan on trying to experience that. I do have a personal channel that I post some of those things on as well. But on this particular channel, I try to keep my personal separated. But being able to go outside and see Jupiter or Uranus or Mars or Pluto, I've never expected to be able to see those things without somebody else going and observing it and putting it on TV for me to watch. So, being that I have the opportunity to do that, I'm going to go out here and I am going to expect the unexpected because the girl don't have a telescope and I ain't getting ready to go get one just to see a lineup of something that's going to happen tomorrow that I can see with the naked eye. Speaking of being able to see with the naked eye, y'all already know coach glasses, guys. Coach glasses. Um, let's get these girls on because I need a little help. So definitely gonna have these on when I go outside tomorrow and look at the 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 lineup of the planets. I do not like the lighting and stuff in the room where I film, so I gotta work on that because if I can see a glare, I always wonder if you guys can see it. And I usually don't go back and watch the videos because I don't do any editing. So I usually see what you all see. So I know last week my head was cut off a little bit. But hey, the message is always clear. So don't miss the message because you're trying to focus on my setup and my background and all that stuff. Because when your girl make it and it be for real set with for real people and all this stuff going on, we having these conversations. I want you guys to be able to say, hey, I was rooting for her and she made it. So, this week's conversation, expect the unexpected. I am going to use one of my favorite Netflix series to break things down. So, I am going to be coming from the Netflix series of Bridgerton. I don't know if you all are Bridgerton watchers, and if you're not, you don't have anything to do, and if you're still snowed in, Bridgerton is a very very good Netflix series that I got into during the pandemic and got hooked. And so I'm so glad to know that there's going to be another season. But I started looking at these characters from the mental health perspective, and so my one of my favorites, she was did she make a cameo in the third? I can't remember now. But Bridgerton is placed back. I can't remember the year or the setting, but it's in English or Scottish, wherever they at. It's society. And it talks about how these people are either prominent people in society or either they're poor people that live down in the trenches, but it tells a story about each character, where they're coming from, what they have going on, and where they're trying to get to. And so I want to use this today, and if you can relate to anything that the character that I'm going to focus on and have a conversation with you today, if you can relate to them, then this will be a very good way to help you to start maneuvering through those hard charted waters that you are struggling with. So Daphne Bridgerton, she's portrayed as a beautiful, intelligent, and initially naive young woman who is deeply devoted to her family, seeking a genuine romantic connection for marriage while navigating through the strict social constraints of the ton. That's what they at. Eventually evolving into a strong, self-aware duchess who prioritizes her own needs and is not afraid to challenge societal expectations. Key traits of Daphne Bridgerton include her warmth, her loyalty, her strong sense of duty, and capacity for growth throughout her journey. And so we mentioned that Daphne initially, she's born into this family. So she's a Bridgerton, and the show is based off the Bridgerton family. Her father was a Viscount, her mother a Viscountess. And a lot of times back then, marriages and who you could hang around and what was acceptable and all of these things were based upon who who you were affiliated with or who your family was or anything like that with stature and different things like that. And so the Bridgerton family is very prominent in the ton. And in society, there's just certain ways you have to look when you go out. Them girls was putting on them corsets to tighten this stuff up right here up. The same way we have gone through the waist training stage, and some people have even gone to the point of surgery and altering themselves. And I just pray for those of you who are getting this type of things done to yourself to alter your appearance or to come across to be something that you're not. You don't want to do it the old fashioned way. You're not comfortable in the skin you're in because you're trying to keep up with what society says you should look like and what society says you should do. Yo, expect the unexpected. Quit trying to alter and change yourself because once you start making them changes to your body, you're going to have to keep making them changes to your body because your natural growth spurts are going to outdo any type of surgery. And then if you go out here and do all these changes to your body, but you don't make any other changes in your life, how you eat, how you exercise, how you sleep, how you take care of yourself, you've wasted thousands and thousands of dollars. And if you can't love yourself and be content in the state that you're in, how can you expect anyone else to love you? That's the first thing. So we have to expect that as we get older, things change. I didn't used to have glasses I could see. And now your girl can't see. I need a little help to see. So I put my glasses on. I didn't expect to have to wear glasses one day. But if I had expected the unexpected and been more realistic a few years ago, I would have, looked for different things and explored different things and went about it a different way. But we know that we cannot go back and change the past. It cannot be redone. So we've already done it. We've already gotten here. Now we have to work through and deal with where we are. But with Daphne, she wanted a love connection like she saw her parents had. She wanted to be able to connect with someone. She didn't want to just marry someone for money or their status in society. She wanted the real family-oriented gist that she had in her household. And for her, it became a battle in the first season of Bridgerton to go against the ton. Now, there was a queen who they had to be presented to, and then the queen would choose what she called her diamond of the first water or whatever it may be. And they go and they present themselves to the queen. And some of them girls had them corset things so tight, they fell out. And the queen, right there at the throne, they just fell out because they bruising their ribs and all this other stuff that we have there. But your presentation was what mattered the most to the queen. In order for her to see and accept you, you had to walk through that court or whatever it's called. And when you get to her, you had to bow a certain way. You had to pay homage to this queen, and then she would select her diamond for the season. And then just because the queen selected you, that alone caused you to be, top choice in the ton. Everybody then wanted to get with you, or everybody thought they wanted to get with you. It was none of the stuff that means something. Now, when I first met my husband, I never expected that he would be my husband. And I'm going to tell you why. Back then, I had certain things that I was looking for in a man. I wanted you to be older than me. I wanted you to not have any children because I didn't have any. I wanted all of these things, and I used to write it down in my little journal, little diary of what I thought I wanted out of a mate. And every relationship before that, I was able to check those boxes off and say, oh, he's taller than me. Oh, he does this, whatever. We're going to be a perfect match. But those relationships never worked. So when I met my husband, y'all, he's shorter than me. He had 2 children already. We lived and grew up in the same town, but had no idea who each other was. And he's younger than me. Not as young as I thought he was when I first met him, though. And when I first met him, I'm just like, this little boy, I ain't going to talk to him. I'm a grown woman. I just graduated from college. I'm not going to talk to this little boy. But he was persistent in getting to know me. And all of those rules and all of these checklist box things that I had done went out the window because this man made me laugh. He went out of his way to do little things for me from 21 years ago to today. He listened to me. We became friends. We do everything together. But just like any other couple, any other marriage, any other relationship, we have gone through ups and downs. And because we're human, those things will happen. But you have to expect the unexpected, because the first sight of trouble, people usually want to run away, hide, not deal with something. No, you got to push through. And you've got to expect that everything is going to be okay. When you begin to have those expectations or those great expectations that this thing is going to work out for my good, you start moving towards wanting it to work for your good. You start doing things for your mate that they do for you. You start going out of your way to sit down and have conversations. You start being able to say, hey, what you did today didn't make me feel good. We need to have a conversation. What I saw, I didn't like. We need to have a conversation. And even if we don't agree, we've been heard. So now I know how he feels. He knows how I feel. And we're going to sit down and find some common ground and move to the next thing. Now, just like anything in life, there's going to be turmoil. You live long enough, you're going to go through something. And so with Daphne, her brother was on this mission to marry her off to, God, I forgot the man's name, but Daphne is a very beautiful young lady. So her brother was pretty much trying to hook her up with a little hermit who was old, but he had money. And, it was like, you're the diamond, so you have to get married this year, even if it's not for love. And then you have this Duke that comes in, and we're going to talk about the Duke a little more in depth later. But he comes on the scene, and he has a whole nother thing going on. So with Daphne being family oriented, she placed high value on her family's reputation and well-being, often putting their needs before her own. She desires a love marriage based on genuine connection rather than just social standing, making her hesitant to settle for unsuitable suitors, is what they were called. And at the beginning of her story, she's portrayed as somewhat naive about the realities of love and marriage because she was sheltered when she was brought up. Despite facing those challenges and societal pressures, Daphne was able to demonstrate the ability to learn, grow, and stand up for herself. So we're going to stop there first. Because when we try to maneuver through the pressures of the society and the world and what everybody else is doing right now, social media has the world on a chokehold. Social media have y'all out here typing and saying stuff that if you was face to face with anybody, you wouldn't say, and you wouldn't do. But because it has become acceptable in today's society, everything seems to be geared towards social media. So you don't know what's real and what's not. You don't know who's real and who's not. So you got to get to know people. Putting others' needs before yourself is the worst thing to do. It's not selfish to take care of you first. Let me say that again. It is not selfish to take care of you first. So when you get up in the morning, you gotta carve out some time to look in that mirror, have some affirmations, do some things that are good to get you going for the day. Because girl, I'm not a morning person. A lot of people don't believe that about me because I really am outgoing, and like I said on many videos and sessions, I don't have any enemies. If there's anybody out there that don't like me, it's because they choose not to like me, and that's cool. Your choice is your choice. We good over here. But in the interim of that, I had to learn that I do not have to adjust and be this way to be accepted by anybody. Just like Daphne, I am very family oriented. I am there for my family, and close friends, I don't even consider or call them friends. I call them family. And with Daphne, she had all of this anxiety on her because she felt pressure. When you reached a certain age in society, you weren't considered good enough, for marriage. You had to settle for whatever. And a lot of times it was these old men that, nobody else wanted to be with, and they were old, and now your family trying to push you off on these people. And Daphne refused to succumb to what her brother wanted her to do. She refused to be this individual that her brother, looked for her to be. She just refused to do it. And in that, found her love match in the unlikeliest of places and of sorts. But she didn't succumb or give into society in the way that she wanted to. Now, Daphne was manipulative. There is a part where she played where she kind of, hey, she told the Duke, look, I don't want to marry this man. you done came out here in this courtyard, and the women couldn't be alone in rooms with men or whatever. And she's like, you don't see me in this uncompromising position or a compromising position, and I don't want to marry this man. And that the man try to mess with it, and she give him a right hook and knock him out. And the Duke sees this, and they begin to form, this bond or friendship without realizing that it was actually leading to their love connection, and they developed what they call the ruse. In today's world, it's catfishing and lying to people and pretending to be something that you're not. That's what that's considered these days. But she convinced the Duke to pretend like they were courting. Courting is dating. Y'all don't do that anymore. Y'all meet somebody and fall in love in 5 minutes, and then when y'all break up, it's all over the internet, especially celebrities. But anyway, you got to take the time to get to know these people. And if your motives are to get with them because they are famous and you think you're getting ready to get a free ride and you ain't got to work and you ain't got to do all this stuff, baby, you better expect the unexpected, because a lot of these matches made in heaven that we see on the internet are not real. They're not genuine. They're not based on any type of foundation. There's no loyalty. You guys will go out here and do whatever with whoever. And that's crazy. Have some love for yourself. Have some ability to learn and grow and know who you are. And to be honest with your mate, so that when this stuff starts unfolding on TV, the shade room, and everywhere else y'all go, then you don't look crazy when the blogs or vlogs or whatever you want to call them are telling your story based off what you post and what you put out there. It gotta be a good look. Hey, and if it ain't a good look, don't be ashamed for it to not, because you gotta expect the unexpected. We get married for forever. You don't get married to get divorced, or at least nobody should. But that's part of the unexpected, because it can happen, you know? But if you're putting in the work, if you are serious about your mate, if you're devoted to the cause, everything will eventually work together for your good, because that's what it's designed to do. You have to be accountable for what you put out there, what you want people to know, how you stand on who you are, what you do, why you do it, where you're going, what your intentions are. Y'all get with these people and then you don't even let them know who you are for real. You gotta take that lace front off and be who you are. You guys have seen me between hair days. Okay. I didn't want to do a video because my braids weren't done yet, but why? This is who I am. And I don't make any apologies about it. My life has been what it's been. And I don't make any apologies about it. I've done some stuff that I'm not necessarily proud of. But I don't make no bones about it, because that's not who I am today. And if that's who you're focused on, if that's what floats your boat, and if that's what works for you, have at it, boo. You can't get to me. There is no other human being on this earth that can shake me to the core of wanting to fight or make myself look foolish in any type of arena. You gotta take care of yourself and quit allowing people to get you out of character. You have a perfect peace. Every day that you wake up, it's a new day. So now it's a new day. It's a new beginning. And if I lose my cool or lose my peace, it's because I gave it away. People can't take anything from you that's internal and inside of you. The only way you lose that kind of stuff is if you give it away. Your possessions can be stolen. People can come in here. You can take whatever. I can get that back. But when I give up my heart and I give up and change who I am, and I've done that, I have lost so much trying to conform to society or trying to be who this person wanted me to be, that person wanted me to be. Now, not only am I dealing with depression and anxiety, I'm dealing with multiple personalities that I'm creating, because I got to be this way at church, this way at home, this way at work, this way when I'm with my family, this way when I'm with my husband's family. Please, that's too much work. I just want to be me. And if you got to know me, my husband and I dated for 7 years before getting engaged. And then it was we were together 9 years when we got married. And right now, and normally the women are supposed to remember this. If I, we and our, we've been together over 20 years. So, I'm gonna do the math because God knows when he look at this. We've been together so long that, we have seen each other at our absolute worst and we've seen each other at our absolute best. And when there have been times when I did something that gave him reason, to leave, there was something in there to stay. When he did things that gave me reason to leave, there was something in me to stay. And let's say, look, let's figure out why we did these things to hurt one another. We all know the old cliche, you hurt the ones you love. That is very true. And sometimes it's not intentional, but it's because we haven't done any of the inside work. Once you start working on the inside and you truly love somebody, because that's another word that is used so loosely in society. Y'all don't even know what love is, but you're right here talking about you in love. And I've seen people have big, grandiose weddings, and I'm not just talking about celebrities. I'm talking about people I know spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on weddings and appearances and all these different things, and right now they can't stand each other. They ain't together. All this other stuff is going on because it was for appearances. You didn't get to know who the person was. And if this is somebody for the rest of my life or understand what marriage is, I gotta wake up next to this man for the rest of my life. But I love him. And I love him because I'm able to sit and say what I love about him. It has nothing to do with the Coach bags that you guys see. Nothing to do with the trips he may take me on. Nothing to do with any of that. But everything to do with us laying in the bed, watching TV, playing Words with Friends with one another. Or I got my iPad propped up playing a game and he just knocks my iPad over and walk out. Really, sir? But then it starts this thing where we're playing with one another and we're looking at each other now in the same light we looked at each other 20 years ago. Because it's still there, because I'm still Ebony. And he's still who he is. And even though things have come that caused us to become different versions of ourselves along the way, we have actually found it to be better than it was before. We all change and go through growing pains. Things that you experience in life, it takes you to places that you had never been before. But you have to sit down and you have to do that internal work so the external triggers don't take you out, because they will. Stress is real. It'll kill you. Stress will give you a heart attack. Stress will take you out of here. And, excuse me, I'm sorry. The doctor can't put Ebony died from stress on my death certificate. I had a heart attack, and then all this stress, all this worration, or I've had a panic attack, I can't breathe, all this stuff is going on. And at the end of the day, when you stop and evaluate it, it's never that serious. It's never that serious. If you're in a committed relationship and your partner decides to step out on you, and you sit down and have a conversation to figure out why, and then your partner is sharing with you things that they feel are lacking in a home, and a lot of times that's what happens before something drastic like that happens. Nobody's talking. We're misinterpreting each other's actions. You're looking at your partner like, oh, he ain't been doing that. She ain't been doing that. They ain't been moving like this. So since they moving like this, instead of me having a conversation, I'm going to start moving like this. Then now both of y'all looking stupid. And then you're out here and you're miserable because you didn't take the time to sit down with the person who is truly devoted to you, truly loves you, truly loyal to you, and do those things for you. You didn't take the time to become friends first. And I'm telling y'all, all of this stuff is real. Y'all need to court, date, spark. The Bridgertons called it courting, promenading. They went on walks and had these conversations like, what you want out of life? How many kids you want? What you want to do? You gonna stay home? I want to travel. They conversed. And we got away from dating. We just pop out and show people like, I'm with such and such. And you sitting there looking like, oh, I didn't know they were together because I thought he was with whoever. Sometimes you have to fight for what it is you know that you want and what it is you know that you need. And that's not just in relationships. We're talking relationships because I'm talking about Daphne Bridgerton, but I mean in your career, I mean in your life, what type of parent you want to be, how to maneuver through your childhood trauma, because if you don't fix that, you're going to forever be stuck maturity wise back at 18, 16, 17 and be a 47-year-old, 46-year-old woman still talking about, well, when I was 10, my daddy didn't, my mama didn't, your behind ain't 10. And your mama or your daddy has nothing to do with you now being an adult, doing the work that you need to do to get past this stuff. Y'all sit around and say, oh, I need an apology. For what? Because if it's not sincere, what good is it going to do? And if you haven't done the work on the inside, you really don't know what you want. It's what you think you want. Get to know yourself. Figure out who you are. Figure out what it is that you want. And remember, I told you guys all the time, the limelight comes with exposure. So for all y'all that want to be on center stage and you want to be the center of attention and you want everybody looking your way, when they start looking and peeling back your layers and exposing, these different things about you, you want to be the one to control your narrative. You want to be the one to tell your story. So you don't need to give anybody any ammunition to shoot any darts or anything to you. So let me get back to Daphne now. Her natural beauty and pleasant demeanor made her well liked in society, allowing her to navigate social situations with ease. I shared with my clinical supervisor doing supervision, or individual supervision. I had shared with them what I started doing so that I didn't mix work and home and not be on a job worried about something at home, not being at home worried about something at work. So when I'm taking that drive or when I'm getting up in the morning and I'm going through my process, I start emptying myself of anything that's going to hinder me from doing my job. I didn't always do that. So sometimes I would go to work upset because of something that happened the day before, 10 years, for what? And then now I'm not good morning or whoever to anybody else. But when I go outside these doors, I have patience. Because guess what? If I go to the bank and the line is long, I got to wait my turn. Ain't nothing special about me for me to be able to go to the front of the line. And celebrities, just because you guys have money and stature and all this other kind of stuff, you're regular people too. And for some of y'all, you've experienced that celebrity status, and now you're back being a regular person, and all that people going out the way for you ain't being done no more. So now you back to reality. You got to remember who you were before you got where you are. Now you ain't got to go back, but always remember who you were before you got where you were. And if there's some issues, if you're still upset about your daddy or your mama and they're still living, go talk to them. If they're not, definitely move past it. But if you have a living parent and you have no relationship with that parent, my heart aches for you. My heart aches for you. Bury the beef. Just bury it. People make mistakes. All of us have shortcomings. Nobody is perfect. So work on you so that you can say, look, I didn't intend to make you feel that way. That wasn't my intentions. I never wanted that to be a hindrance in our relationship, friendship, or whatever. But it is. And so I apologize sincerely from the bottom of my heart. And if it means we got to go separate ways, then go separate ways. Sometimes you just have to leave stuff where it is. But if it is your family, y'all, unless something really detrimental happened in your life, you really got to get to a place of getting past some of the stuff that you struggle with. Now, here's my caveat and my kicker. You have to develop self-awareness. And we talked about this on the channel. As Daphne's story progresses, she gains a deeper understanding of her own desires and becomes more assertive in pursuing them. We get so caught up in what everybody else wants from us that's what we end up doing. We end up agreeing to stuff that we aren't sure we want to agree to. When we make decisions based off our emotions, a lot of times that stuff don't go well. You have to stop and think things through. Be alert. Pay attention. Quit with all the hoopla and letting all this other stuff get in your mind. Stop stuff. I'm to the point now where I don't want to hear the tea. If it ain't tea that we get ready to drink, I don't want to know. And then if it's something about somebody that I care about and you trying to create havoc in my circles, no. Because if I don't stop it, I might as well be participating in it. Cut it out. It's time out for that. And then y'all, oh, this is my friend. But then you go behind your friend back and sleep with their wife or man or talk about them when you with somebody else. You ain't a friend. So quit talking about what's been done to you and focus more on what you're doing to people. It starts in, let it come from the inside and exude out. So, the same way I am in society and at home and everywhere else, I'm that same way. I'm very respectful of others. I go out of my way to help people. I just love to help people. I go out of my way, and even if you've crossed me, it would never stop me from helping you. And sometimes help can just look like a prayer or, just a me staying away or anything. And let me say that since I use the word prayer. On the channel, I do use, because in behavioral health, mental health, when developing plans and developing ways for people to get through, a lot of people have an attachment to their higher power, whatever their higher power may be. I'm respective persons. So if I'm working with you one-on-one, we're definitely going to come from a place of what your spiritual religious beliefs are. My personal spiritual and religious beliefs are Christianity. So I pray. And I just ask God, look, the same way I have conversations with y'all, when I close my eyes, that's how I'm talking to God. Hey, Lord, sometimes, dear Lord, it's me, Margaret, them books we read in middle school. Lord, this your girl, Ebony. Right now, you already know what I'm struggling with, but you said I can cast my cares upon you, so I want to talk to you about this thing because it's bothering me. I want to ask for guidance on how to maneuver through this thing because I've tried everything else that I knew to try. Now I'm coming to you, which we know that's backwards. If you're a Christian, I should take it to God first. But I'm human, and a lot of times I don't. But I start to be able to see things clearly when I stop instead of reacting off of emotions. I have been able to notice the difference of decisions that I make when I'm more alert and aware of what's going on, when I've made myself more aware versus me just going off information that was given to me and just kind of jumping into something without doing the proper due diligence, to make it through. So you have to develop self-awareness. You have to have a strong moral compass. You have to be able to emerge into the confident, independent individual that you are. Because things happen, life happens. So when we start depending on people, places, things, and that's where your addictions come into play, because now you're addicted or you're dependent upon a substance and or an individual to do things for you that you need to do for yourself. I have no patience and tolerance for an adult who knows better but chooses to not do better. Comes a choice. So you got to pick it up and do it at some point. You catch me on the right day and it's your first time coming at me, you need something. God in heaven knows if I got it, you got it. But if it becomes a repeat type deal and there's no explanation about it or there's no conversation, let's sit down and talk about why you keep finding yourself in this place. What can you do differently? And you can't always expect people to pull you out. You gotta expect the unexpected. What if nobody comes to pull me out of the hole? You've been expecting somebody to come. You never expected or had an expectation that nobody would show up. What if nobody shows up? Now what do? Just stay in the hole? No, you're going to get your butt up out the hole. So do that to begin with. Make those changes that you need to make to begin with. And so with Daphne, the expectation of, I'm going to go out here. I was chosen by this queen. I'm going to be, she never expected to be a duchess. She just expected to be a wife. But when you set yourself up for the unexpected, you can have whatever you like my guy T.I. said. You can have whatever you like. You can have the choice to pick up the litter when you go out here because you can't, I'm not good enough. Who told you that? I'm not pretty enough. Who told you that? Oh, I don't have the shape and the corset and I don't have the BBL that some of these people have, and I don't have this. Man, let me tell you something. Who told you that? When people would compliment me, now don't get it twisted. Girls still come through. But back in the day, I had it together and I didn't do no work. It was natural. It was all natural. My shape, my everything. It was just I just boom bam. One day I'm just shapely. Because I was a tomboy. I always been a girl, but I was a tomboy. I got all brothers. And when I discovered that I had a little shape, I started dressing a little different and carrying myself a little different. And I can't see me, or at least back then I couldn't see me the way others would see me. So people would say to me, dang, I wish I had your shape. And I used to tell them all the time, no, you don't. Now, there's a lot of junk in this trunk, and it's a lot to carry around. We ain't had no surgeries over here. We ain't need no Brazilian butt lifts, and we ain't need none of that. And I'm not knocking any of you who feel like you need that. Do what you feel like you need to do for your own sanity. But when you do all of that and nothing still works out for you, what's next? That's what you gotta ask yourself. What's next? Love who you are. But you have to do the work to find out who you are right now in life. You have to figure out the 26-year-old Ebony and the 46-year-old Ebony and the 36-year-old Ebony. Those are three completely different people. 3. Ebony Williams is my maiden name. So that girl is completely different from Ebony Campbell. My married name. So a lot of people, I don't want to go back and get Ebony Williams out the bed for y'all because she ain't had no filter. She didn't care. She did what she wanted to do, said what she wanted to say, but that didn't get her where she needed to go. So there had to be some internal changes, and that's all that I'm saying. You have to expect the unexpected. Being a young woman that grew up in the projects, not even realizing that we were poor, not realizing how much my mama struggled, not realizing the sacrifices that she made, not realizing the time and things that my dad put in growing up. I just knew I had everything that I thought I wanted. I didn't know what society thought about where we lived. Then we lived in the projects, but that wasn't a bad thing to me. I love my neighborhood. 309 Hood Drive till I check up out of here. But when we don't know how to be taught to be content and happy with that, and society looks down on you, you start looking down on yourself. And I'm here today to tell you, expect the unexpected when it comes to you. Somebody will love you for who you are, what you look like, where you live, where you came from. There is a person out there for you. You just got to take the time to let that happen and quit trying to rush things. Quit trying to manipulate your way into these situations that have you around here looking stupid with kids that you're raising by yourself. You were up in status at one time in society. Now you're behind down here and you're looking for somebody to pick you up. Then you're mad when the tabloids or the blogs get a hold of your story. And remember, they're only giving out the information from the way that they perceive it. So when people start talking about you, you better learn how to brush that mess off. Ducks let water roll off their back, literally, and they in the water 90% of the time. Let that mess roll off your back, because everything that you try to address, you can either come out looking foolish and being what people said that you are, or you can come out, it can be so detrimental. So take your time, have conversations, quit doing stuff in the heat of the moment. Y'all are out on national TV fighting and hitting people, and then when they go take your little behind the court, oh, this shouldn't have happened. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be. Your actions caused you to be where you are. Deal with it. Deal with it. Then move forward from it. So, the unexpected for me with this channel was for it not to go anywhere. But I had an expectation of it going everywhere. And if it didn't do nothing but go to the 2 or 3 people, that I might have, if that's all it did, then I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that. And I want you guys to be so alert with learning what you can be okay with, so that as you maneuver through your uncharted waters and you start to expect the unexpected, because your girl gonna be a billionaire, trillionaire, I don't know. Your girl gonna be somebody. I don't expect it to happen today, but it's going to happen. I'm not going to settle for what society has outlined for me. And y'all better pay attention to all this political stuff that's going on. That's what y'all better do. You better pay attention to these executive orders that good old DT up in there signing off on. You better pay attention to the things that are being decided for you around you. Get a grip of that so you're aware. Because when this stuff hits the fan and it starts to trickle down to you, and you, oh, I didn't even know that was going on. You better pay attention. You better pay attention. You have access to that stuff. You better pay attention. So, I told you guys with it being just one video a week, I usually try to stay within a certain time frame because just like with anything else, we can't sit and listen and look but for so long. And if it don't capture your attention, you begin to slowly fade. But I want to encourage you guys to please look at Bridgerton. At least the first season, I guarantee you'll keep wanting to go on, but just see how Daphne develops in her character and in her role. And once she finds the true love with the Duke and she becomes a duchess, she pours everything that has been instilled in her into her work and into the people that they serve and into society and into doing what's fair. So sometimes it takes somebody of mediocre stature to get into a place or have a platform. And that's what I want to encourage some of you all to do. You guys have platforms with millions and trillions of followers, and all you're doing is showing them crazy stuff. Like, come on, cut it out. Cut it out. Give people some hope, something to look forward to. Quit encouraging all this negative behavior. And then when you out here with these things hanging over your head and stuff that you can't handle and do, the person that you following on social media ain't gonna show up for you. Hello? The person that you're following, that you're allowing to lead you and lead your decisions, they're not going to show up for you. You have to show up for you. You have to expect the unexpected and say, hey, there's a silver lining and everything. And even though I didn't expect this thing to go that way, I had higher expectations of the unexpected because I was determined for things to be better for me. If you sit around and mope and complain and be like an Eeyore all day long, that's what you're gonna get. What you put out is what you get. What you reap, is what you sow. So be a better person to yourself so you can be a better person to those around you. Become familiar and comfortable with you so you'll know what to tolerate and what to stay away from. I mean, it's easier than what we think. So thank you guys for joining me. If you are new, please subscribe, share, comment. Let me know some things that you all want to talk about. Be more self-aware. Let's do this internal work. Let's start on the inside so it oozes out on the outside without us even trying sometimes, so that we can be the best version of ourselves. And so until next week, thank you guys so much for joining me. Do something self-care wise for yourself this weekend. Doesn't matter what it is. If you're still snowed in, this is a perfect opportunity to watch Bridgerton. It's on Netflix. And just spend some time with your family, friends. And if you don't have any, spend some time with you. It's okay. It's all right. Spend some time with you and get to know who you are now and what you want and where you want to go, and go for it. You can do it.